So, dot 2 o'clock, we are here. Hi everyone, I'm RJ Golmaal Gagan from 94.3 My FM on the behalf of CGC Janjeri. I welcome you all. इस वक्त मैं स्टूडियो में बैठा हूँ of 94.3 My FM as a radio partner of this amazing event, I should say. The change makers of club CGC Janjeri celebrates Army Day by recognizing live talk with Lt.Gen General Satish Dua. So really good to have you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure all the students are here. And let me talk about Sir Lieutenant General Satish Dua, Param Vashisht Seva Medal, Uttam Yudh Seva Medal, Vashisht Seva Medal, retired as Chief of Integrated Defense Staff. The Integrated Defense Staff is responsible for synergizing capability development, prospective planning, and adjournment amongst Army, Navy, and Air Forces. Really good to have you. Warm welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really good to be here and connect with the youth.
Yes, sir. So, more talk about a counter-terrorism specialist. General Dua was a corps commander in Kashmir who planned and execution the surgical strikes in response to terror attack at Uri. All saw that movie as well. So has commanded in a battalion as well as a brigade in active militancy in Jammu and Kashmir on line of control LOC. As a major general, he raised as commandant of a new counterterrorism division of Assam Rifles in Northeast to coordinate operations in 3 states of Northeast. So we have some questions to ask, so many questions, so many students ask, our NCC cadets ask. So I'm very excited to have you on CGC Janjeri on this amazing talk show. Sir, as we know, you're a commander instructor as a captain and Indian defense attached in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos as a colonel. He has also held important appointment in Army headquarters dealing with capital and revenue procurements of weapons and equipments. So you are a motivational speaker, TEDx motivational speaker for youth forums and corporate leadership talks. Sir is a keen sportsman as well, fond of horse riding and adventure sports enthusiast, including skydiving, wow, skiing and parachute jumping and mountain biking. So आज के इस talk show में आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा on this amazing day, sir.
Thank you very much, Gagan, for that very warm introduction.
Yes, sir.
And like I said earlier, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute delight to be here with you all, NCC cadets, other students, and in general, the youth of the country. It's really a very invigorating feeling. One feels younger. Thank you.
Yes. The nation has always been proud of our armed forces and always look up to them in difficult times. At the outset, congratulations on the Army Day, and we sincerely hope our Army grows from strength to strength. And also, India is observing Veterans Day. So on this glorious day, sir, as a veteran, of course, I would like to congratulate you.
Thank you, Gagan. Thank you very much. Today is Veterans Day, like you said, and now I'm a veteran as of last 2 years.
Yes.
So, and if I can take not more than 1 minute, I'd like to inform through this medium, I'd like to inform the youth of the country that Veterans Day is a day to honor the veterans, just thank their services, and also pay homage to those who sacrifice their life for the country. But very peculiar to our, this happens the world over on a different day in different country. But very peculiar to our country, you all see this marigold that I'm wearing, this Gende ka phool, which I am wearing on my lapel. And I just want to talk about this.
Sure, sir.
In the Western world, they use poppy, the flower, as a mark of respect for the veterans.
Okay.
It has history in some historical connection. After World War II, a lot of poppy grew where there were a lot of battles, and so people started using that.
Yes.
Last year, some prominent citizens, leading amongst them is a lady by the name of Shivani Das Mahapatra.
Okay.
Uh, she and her friends, they all started a campaign to say that in India,
Mhm.
why don't we use marigold? Marigold has a better relevance to our country than poppy as a flower.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so since then, it has caught on very well. It has caught the imagination of the country, the veterans, and everybody has started using poppy. I beg your pardon, marigold
Marigold.
instead of poppy,
Okay.
uh, to show their respect to the veterans and to the soldiers, and especially as a mark of homage to those who have sacrificed their life. So I just wanted to bring that out for the knowledge and information, and of course, taking pride in the fact that we use marigold to honor our veterans and those who sacrifice their life for the country.
All
Thank
right,
you.
sir. Thank you for this information as well. Thank you very much, sir. And Abhi, we're just warming up. Abhi, start. I have so many questions to be asked, and I'm really excited. My whole studio is very excited. I'm sure CGC Janjiri whole college is very excited. So, shall we start? By your permission, shall we start the question and answer round, sir?
Uh, as long as you are gentle on me, you have a good reputation as an RJ. remember, I am a retired man, not in a mood to fight.
All right. On this note, sir, I'm going to start our question answers. Very easy questions, of course, I'm sure for you. So, talk about 2020, year 2020 was not very exciting year. Was a difficult forward at large due to pandemic. Did it affect our preparation in countering China, sir?
Well, see, 2020 has been a difficult year for the world, as you
No.
said. पूरी
Yeah.
दुनिया में एक तहलका मच गया है.
बिल्कुल, sir.
But, and also, in addition to the corona crisis, we
Yes.
had an unprecedented conflict situation,
Okay.
or at least a face-off, standoff with
Okay.
China on our borders.
Okay.
Now, that was a very peculiar situation. We have been having such face-offs and standoffs in the past, over last 1 decade or so.
Right, sir.
But for it to assume these proportions, it is for the first time
Okay.
that we've had casualties on both sides. This has happened after 45, 46 years. So the point that I'm trying to make, that in addition to the difficulty of corona, which the whole world is facing,
Right.
we had this additional situation to contend with. Now, your question about whether we had difficulties. So let me tell you that on the operational front, Indian Army, I would say Indian Armed Forces,
Okay.
are fully prepared, are fully geared. Corona or no corona, we have never let our guard down. Whether it is a LOC or LAC, whether it is Siachen or some borders in Rajasthan, Army or armed forces have never let their guard down for a minute. They haven't let a scare of a disease affect their operational preparedness.
Right.
So to that extent, our mobilizations, our training, our preparations, our operational readiness, preparation of ammunition, readiness with our equipment, maintenance of and overall of equipment that is required to put these warlike platforms in play, all that has not been affected. So to answer your question, at that level of operational and tactical readiness, it has not been affected. At a human level of emotional bravery, feeling of sacrifice, nothing has been dented at all. But I will, to be practical, certain logistic issues have certainly imposed some time penalties, have imposed some additional delays and costs on the army, on the armed forces to sort of deploy our forces there. For instance, for everyone who goes on leave and comes back, we have to then, army has been very careful. Then we put the man in quarantine for 14 days or at least 7 days, depending on conditions.
Right.
So as per medical advice, those costs had to be prepared. Now, If some supplies or rations or any something that had to reach through contractors, there were additional delays because of corona, or if logistic chains did not work as smoothly as they did work earlier. So some of these kind of logistic issues were there, but like I said earlier, this has not dented us. Whatever else, army and armed forces are prepared to take such contingencies in their stride. And despite all that, I want to assure the country that armed forces are fully ready to meet all challenges.
Right, sir. All right. Before moving to the other question, second question, I would like to inform all the students of CGC Jhanjhedi Mohali. You can ask some questions. I'm sure आपके mind में बहुत सारे questions आ रहे होंगे. तो आप अपने questions साथ-साथ में लिखते रहिए. There's a question, there's a small thing where you can ask your questions. After the question answers round, we'll take your questions as well. We can ask. I'm sure. Sir will definitely answer those questions as well. So moving on, the second question, sir, you have been a chief of integrated defense staff. How it is different from the previous operating procedure, and how does the new setup help in planning and execution of an operation, sir?
Integrated defense staff. पहले तो मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा कि आप सबके दिमाग में है कि there is an army headquarter, there is an air force headquarter, and there is a navy headquarter. 3 of them. But actually, there's a fourth one called the Integrated Defense Staff. Now, that Integrated Defense Staff is the headquarter where all those units and establishments which have elements of all three put together, integrated.
Okay.
They are there. So, I was Chief of Integrated Defense Staff. Then integrated, jahan pe all tri-service units were there, unka in charge. But today there is a full-fledged CDS in charge, Chief of Defense Staff. Now, I was like a number 2.
Okay.
The Chief of Integrated Defense Staff was then, since there was no CDS, he was like a number 2, like a vice chief.
Okay.
So the 4th headquarter did not have a full-fledged chief for 19 years.
Okay.
So government has now taken the strong step of appointing a Chief of Defense Staff, which is General Rawat, the first CDS.
Yeah. Yes.
Your question is how it is different, how it is different from the normal one. Now, it is something like this. To give you an example, if there are 3 very good friends or 3 brothers who are very happy to work with each other, but they live in different houses, they obviously have to coordinate their timings, whether it is to sit down and have a meal together, whether it is to do some work or business or farming together. They have to coordinate. While their coordination is very good, but still they have to coordinate. But imagine if they all live in the same house. I know I'm talking majorly to area of Punjab, Haryana, in Chandigarh. Yes. You understand Sanja Chula. Yeah. The moment there is a Sanja Chula, not only is the coordination better because you're living together in the same house, it is also resource optimization. Aapka kharcha kam hota hai.
Bilkul.
Because in the same chula, everybody is eating. Similarly, if we have same facility, let's say there is a workshop, that workshop is now catering to all 3 services rather than having 3 different workshops. I'm just simplifying an example.
Yeah, right, sir.
And literally the example of workshop is true. So my point is, what is integrated defense staff? All over the world, every country, every major military, 66 or 67 countries have integrated their army, navy, and air force. We were one of the last ones to do it.
Okay.
So what is happening now? A very strong mandate has been given to Chief of Defense Staff that you must integrate our command structures also. So which is a work in progress. Sometimes you may have read in newspapers. So various studies are going on. So all that is happening, and it will result in that resource optimization. It will cut our costs, that Sanja Chula concept that I said. So my point is that integration means now you are working together, your combat potential is increased, your costs are reduced, and you are more effective in operations.
All right, sir. Okay, this question is very interesting, sir, and I'm sure हमारे students ये सुनेंगे और वाकई इस पे सोचेंगे जो बात है कि we are the country with enormous human resource. So, like Israel, should military training and service in the army for 2 or 3 years to be made compulsory for Indian youth?
देखिए, सबसे पहली बात तो ये है गगन कि हर देश को अपने हिसाब से अपनी सिचुएशन के हिसाब से अपने रूल्स बनाने चाहिए.
Okay.
Like, because you started saying, like Israel, should we not do it?
Yeah.
What is Israel is a very brave, has a brave forces, a country which has stood up against a lot of its adversaries, and it's continuing to do so.
Yes, sir.
No doubts. But look at the size of that country. कितना छोटा देश है. Look at its population, and it has a lot of enemies. So now, coming back to whether that suits us or not.
Not, yeah.
Now, because firstly, in India, armed forces popularity is never in doubt. That means you go outside and see, whenever there is a recruitment rally, you see the kind of rushes, the crowds that throng to get themselves enrolled in the military.
Yes.
तो हमारे को एक तो there is no कमी नहीं है, यानी कि it's not that volunteers are not coming.
हाँ, yes.
Secondly, lot of people will turn around and tell me, sir, but officers की तो shortage रहती है. Officers की shortage इसलिए नहीं है कि हमारे लोग नहीं आ रहे हैं. Officers की shortage इसलिए है कि we are not reducing our standard. We still want that top-notch standard, and if that standard is not met, we are not fulfilling the vacancy.
Oh, okay.
So the point is, आने को तो यहाँ भी बहुत लंबी लिस्ट है. But we don't reduce our standard, and more so in the SSB, in the interviews. Okay. So having made that point, I also want to say that conscription of or compulsory service is required in those countries where people don't want to come. Firstly, in our country, we are all career soldiers. So we continue to remain like that. I personally don't think that there is a requirement, and in fact there is no need. हमारी आबादी इतनी है, आप इन सबको सोल्जर बना लोगे तो कितनी बड़ी आर्मी रखेंगे.
Yes, sir.
Or you will say then everybody should move out after 2 years.
Yes.
अब आप सोचो हम आपको सियाचिन में ले जाएं तो पहले ट्रेनिंग कराएं कि या पहले आपको ले जाएं. So the point is, everything requires different kind of training. So for our situation, let's not compare to Israel, America, or France. Right. For our situation, to my mind, the present system is working well. If anything, we need to have some different alternatives. And since you're talking of NCC, we'll talk towards the end as to what.
Yeah, there'll be a question. Yeah, for them there is a different separate question. Good. So although mobile phones, it's a very interesting question again. जिस तरह से आजकल मोबाइल फोन एक्सेस इंफॉर्मेशन कनेक्टिविटी आ गई है, विच इज अ बून ऑफ कोर्स, बट एट द सेम टाइम हमारी जो फिजिकल एक्टिविटी है वो रिड्यूस हो गई है सर. So connectivity increase, but physical activity is reduced. So you are a sports enthusiast. What suggestions you will offer for the new generation, sir?
मेरे हिसाब से I am going to sort of disagree with you slightly.
Okay.
कनेक्टिविटी आ गई है. There is
no doubt.
कनेक्टिविटी से उल्टा मैं कहता हूँ, I have 2 grown up sons and I tell them, यार आइसोलेशन बढ़ गई है.
अच्छा,
आ गई है, पर आप एक ही घर में आपस में नहीं बात करते हो, मैसेज भेज देते हो एक दूसरे को.
जी सर.
Or I don't have time and we don't sit down and have a meal together at times. So that is one aspect. But to your saying कि physical fitness and उसमें लोग उसमें चले गए हैं, I tell you that people of my generation always say, oh, today's youngster is hooked to the mobile, is dependent on Google, he plays games online and not so much on the field.
Yeah.
But my reply to them and to you now is, but how is it that the Olympic records are always being broken? Today's youngster, I see, is more conscious. My sons are more conscious than I was of going to the gym and not eating fried stuff and being diet conscious. So and today, if you see the number of gyms that are there, we never had any gyms when I was younger in our country. So the point I'm trying to make, that इन दोनों का इतना कनेक्शन नहीं है जितना हम लोग बना रहे हैं. Those who want to only play video games will play video games, but overall the consciousness to stay fit is more today. It is not that it is less. Let's not make mobile the villain. Yes, we all need to go out. There is no shortcut to that. And I urge all those who are listening to me, and please go and talk to your friends and relatives also. If anything, the year gone by, 2020, has shown us the value of good health. We have realized that how many families have been shattered, how many people have lost their lives. So let us understand that good health se acha aur kuch nahi hai. And to
Yes.
that extent, whatever it takes, do get out and always exercise. Don't always be with your mobiles, like Gagan said. And I understand that mobile is a distraction,
Yeah.
but please keep that in your pocket or in your shelf for some time and do go out and exercise. Your point is very well taken, Gagan.
And of course, you have health apps in your mobile phone. So
Yes.
somewhere, yeah,
Yes,
it's again.
they also tell you how much have you done, how much have you walked
Yes,
or
yes,
cycled.
yes, yes.
So you have better enablers than we have.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir. Okay, so of late there has been control in terrorist activities within the country. Although the border infiltration जो है मतलब वो होती रही है regularly. Can India finish the menace completely in future?
I think you are a very interesting RJ. You must be a very interesting RJ in your programs, Gagan,
Yeah.
because you are alternating the questions very nicely. कोई एक operational question, फिर एक कोई question on such like like you said sports, yeah, other questions that you had.
Yes.
So I really like that style. Uh,
I hope
yeah, getting back to
there should not be any jerk. I hope.
yeah, yeah, very nice. No, it's good.
Thank you, sir.
So terrorism, your question, if I remember correctly, is
Yeah.
that can we completely finish it off?
Completely destroyed. Yeah.
Dekho, completely is a big word, but let me tell you that in the in the 90s, when this Kashmir problem started off, the whole of J&K got engulfed later. In the 90s, there were 3-4 thousand militants roaming around in J&K.
जी sir.
We have seen those younger days. I've taken part in encounters.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, some of you may have read it. I've written that book recently, India's Brave Hearts, on the experiences. So my point is the kind of uh, experiences we had and what is today is very less. The number of militants are very less. The violent activities against the civilians are very less. Now, it is controlled to a great extent.
Yes.
Your generation has not even seen. You don't even remember as to what happened in Tripura, what happened in Nagaland, Mizoram. Now, those days in 70s and 80s, and even earlier 60s, I wasn't there in the army then, but
Okay.
kind of violent activities we have seen in the Northeast.
Okay.
The biggest massacre was in India was the Mandalay massacre in 80s in Tripura. Today, Tripura is such a peaceful state you can't even imagine. So when you look back, you don't even know because time is a big healer. So
Yeah.
I am sure time will come here also in Kashmir, in
Mm.
J&K, that things will improve. Things will improve to, your question was, can we completely cut it off?
Yeah.
Inshallah, yes. It will happen one day.
Yeah.
It will take some time. Government has taken some very strong steps, which is very recent. And because of that, things are getting under control. But please remember, everyone has to be patient. What has taken more than 30 years to deteriorate, it cannot be done in a hurry. It will take a
Yes.
generation or two to sort itself out.
Right, sir. Okay, let's talk about Pakistan. We have a very strange relationship. It's neither war nor peace. Without declaring war, they keep firing cross border. I mean, as a result, which we keep losing our soldiers off and on. So fighting cross border should it not be assumed as attack and give them befitting reply next time to a point where we finish their ability to attack in future.
You see, it is actually called in military parlance, we really call it no war, no peace, because we are not at a declared war with each other, but there is no peace because we are constantly firing across the line of control.
That's
Now,
true.
everything stems from the fact
Mhm.
that the border in J&K is not the international border, not a ratified borders by both the parliaments or equivalents
Mhm.
governments. It is at best an interim border where
Okay.
both the sides are actually holding on. Now it is called LOC,
Yes.
line of control. Now, what is LOC? Exactly as the name says, it is line of control. So whatever you control, you keep it. We have that concept of grabbers keepers. If I grab this hill or this mountain or that little piece of ground, it becomes mine. So to that extent, I mean, that is just to explain the concept to everyone. So to that extent, everyone has to really, literally guard. Whereas in Rajasthan, in other places, the borders, you don't have to sit on the border to guard it because it is demarcated border pillars, cemented pillars are there agreed between the two countries.
Right, sir.
So coming back to the point, now since you are actually sitting on the LOC to control your side of it, to make sure that nobody comes across, what you do, you stand, you make posts over there. Post, what is a post? Post is a group of bunkers. A bunker is a, let us say, 6x8 or 8x8 small room with pillboxes with the loopholes where we can fire weapons at each other. So there you are guarding that. When you are guarding it with weapons, somebody strays across, they try to push terrorists across, or any such thing happens, there are always interaction, what we call ceasefire violations. So the point is, we are firing at each other. We will remain in that condition till as long as there is a line of control kind of thing. And more so nowadays, when they are trying to push in terrorists and they aid them by firing across the line of control to assist them in getting across.
Right.
So now, having given that background, to tackle your question head on, your question was, can we not finish it? Can we not finish their capability to attack? Now, that sentence is an oversimplification, Gagan. Because how do you finish a country's capability to fire across a loophole? You can use rockets and heavy artillery and heavy weapons to blast that bunker or a post completely, which has been done a few times. But you cannot stop them from constructing there or somewhere else again. So, and there are so many bunkers, there are so many posts on both sides. So which all will you blast? The point I'm trying to make, yes, we do have skirmishes, I beg your pardon, the sort of exchange of fire.
Okay.
We do have that kind of thing to dominate the LOC on both sides.
Okay.
But to say that to be able to crush a country's capability to attack us, now that will require a full-fledged war. And trust me, war is something that nobody wants.
Absolutely, sir. So again, I would like to inform you, कुछ आपके माइंड में सवाल आ रहे हैं, हम आगे फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं, हम आगे I'll read those questions, आप लिख सकते हैं, जो अभी जुड़े हैं वो लोग भी. And coming back to our questions, sir, India recently has been elected as a non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council. In recent years, we have made several attempts to gain the place as permanent member. So now some critics are questioning, does India deserve a seat as a permanent member of Security Council of UN? So what it means for India and by when we can hope to get it?
See, broadly, I see it this way, that after World War II, the the United Nations was formed essentially to ensure that there is more peace and tranquility in the world.
Yes.
And if there is any issue that is cropping up, there is a world body to sit and educate on it. At that moment, a few powerful countries who were more powerful than the others, who started this initiative, became the permanent member. There are 5 of them. Without expanding the discussion of how China came in and things like that, there are 5 permanent members.
Okay.
But over the last 7 decades that have elapsed, the parameters of the world have changed. The strengths and weaknesses of the countries of the world which form this body have changed.
Achha. Okay.
The countries that were powerful haven't remained that powerful, and some countries which were not are rising up. So it is bound to happen.
Okay.
And by that paradigm, India is amongst one of those 3-4 countries which should rightfully become one of the permanent members. And why do I say that? What do you see in a country? You see in a when you have to see whether it's a powerful country or not, you see in a country its size of its economy. You see its own size in terms of land mass size and in terms of population.
Yeah.
You see its sort of influence that it exerts in its surroundings, in its neighborhood. You see its military power. Now, all these three or four things that I've said, India ranks in the top three, four, maximum five, whether it is size, whether it is population, whether it is military, whether it is economy, in all these. So, by that token, I am trying to simplify it for the students. By that token, we should be there. I will not like to name a country because I'll become controversial, but go over in your mind with the five permanent members and see some of them are so small in several issues, but they continue to hold on to that permanent seat. So
Yes, yes, yes.
while we cannot, I cannot say, ki, okay, that country should be removed or this should be removed, but we can add more permanent members, which will make, that is why slowly UN is losing its effectiveness because it is not a true representative of the world. There are countries like Brazil, there are countries like China, I beg your pardon, like India, which which surely merit to be there. So, that is the reason why world at large wants or supports India's bid to be a permanent member. Now, what do we gain by it? The last thing that
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what you gain by it is a say on the higher table. When you sit on the higher table, then you make sure that that the right things are progressed. For example, we've had, let us take this case of a couple of terrorists who were being designated terrorists. Now, every time a permanent member can just veto, and China would veto any move made to designate a particular international terrorist as a terrorist if he even is living in Pakistan. Now, veto means they have that kind of power. They don't have to give any reason. They just veto it. They don't let it happen. So that is the reason why we need to have an equivalent say on the high table when we take decisions which affect everybody.
Right, sir. Okay, sir. Uh, I'm sure so many students are very excited to know so many things about, of course, India. India has been making a rapid advancement in being self-reliant in production of arms and ammunitions, various missiles, technologies, space, cyber warfare. Where do you see India in next 20 years, sir?
I would like to say right at the top.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like to say that.
Yeah.
No, but
Of
to be
course.
practical, India is making great strides. But I will also be equally frank to admit that we are still not playing to our potential. There is still a lot of scope, room for improvement, and we need to go there.
Right, sir.
There are several steps that are being taken. Like the present day thing, the latest is that Make in India,
Yes.
and that kind of initiative that is taking place where the private sector is being encouraged to partner with the foreign original manufacturers or major industry to
Yes, sir.
make in India. Several, especially now in the last year, we have seen several big business houses are getting out of China, or a couple of them who have gotten out of China. iPhone, for instance, they set up a facility in India after it came out of there. So,
Yes.
so the point is that today, in this kind of scenario, in industry, we need to make sure that all these schemes and more continue to fructify. We translate them into something good, and we will certainly see improvement in our share of the world manufacturing. And the other aspect of cyber and space and other enablers, and these the new age tools, if I can call them that, the modern technologies. In this again, India has the potential to be a leader. if you see so many of the big names, big companies around the world, a lot of them have Indians in the top leadership positions.
Absolutely.
You take Google, you take Microsoft,
yeah.
IBM,
yeah.
you take, they are
Here's
there.
what I found on the web.
Sorry, I just turned my phone off.
Yes.
You take these big high-tech giants. You have so many of them, and I'm not, I was interrupted by technology only by my phone. So where have Indians there in leadership positions, whether or not they are Indian nationals now.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make, if that can happen, can we not nurture an environment where we can do bigger things at home? So the potential, like I said in the beginning, we are not playing to potential. We need to have more encouraging policies and encouraging environment where we can make this happen. And like you said, 20 years is a long time, because in today's period, the technology develops very, very rapidly. So 20 years is a long time, and I'm sure we will be much in a much better position than we are today.
Absolutely. कई बातें आपकी सर मेरी रोंगटे खड़े कर रही हैं. So I'm getting starting goosebumps.
एक इंटरप्शन और अलाउ कीजिए.
जी सर.
और ये सब करने वाले आप लोग हैं जो सुन रहे हैं. Your generation is going to take us there. You will write the growth story of India.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So मैं वही बता रहा था कि मेरे गूज़बम्स आ गए सर आपकी बातें कई सुन के. और आई एम श्योर क्वेश्चंस भी आ गए साथ ही साथ में. गूज़बम्स के साथ साथ हमारे क्वेश्चंस भी आ गए कि सीजीसी झंझेड़ी मोहाली के कई स्टूडेंट्स कुछ सवाल, बट अभी कुछ और सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस हैं. मैं आई वांट टू आस्क, फिर हम उन क्वेश्चंस पे भी आएंगे. सर, we've been reading in media the statements of top army commanders that we can take back PUK anytime. It's for government to give go ahead. So by when we can expect to reclaim it, sir?
I am going to stick my neck out and disagree with you.
Okay.
A lot of statements I have also read.
Okay.
No, we can take back any time. We can. यानी हम काबिलियत रखते हैं. Do we want to? एक कश्मीर में इतनी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, हम इतने डिकेड से उसको कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं. आपने भी पूछा कब तक इसको कंट्रोल कर पाएंगे.
Yes.
How do we want more problem right now?
No, sir.
So you can take over. Then how do you maintain that? How do you administer it? You will have a continuous struggle. So let things become better. We'll have to work at a different and a better model of trying to coexist. But I have no ready answers or solutions for that. It is good to make statement. Actually, you should be saying, I am a general, I am a military guy. I should be saying, yes, we'll take it. No, the point is, we are also informed citizens. So we should also understand what is practical, what is pragmatic, what is manageable, what is not manageable. I'll leave it there.
Okay. Talk about youth, sir. Of late, youth is attracted to MNCs, because अच्छा पैसा मिलता है, handsome money, handsome packages. You are the best person, I feel, to advise the youth that everything does not have to be in terms of money. I'm sure you can. What's your say, sir?
देखिए, firstly, I must say that wanting commercial success or success, if that is the measure of success, is nothing wrong in that. That means it is a natural aspiration of the young to want to excel. And if the measure of success is a better pay packet or a job, or let's say you start your own venture and you do well, then so be it. For me, it was important to join NDA, join the army.
Yeah.
I left medical college. I did first semester and then of MBBS and left that to join it.
Yeah.
Today, yes, you are right that today there are many more opportunities than we used to have when I was a youngster.
Yes, sir.
So today youth can get sort of motivated to do things other than military.
Bilkul.
On the face of it, I don't see anything wrong in that. But Having said that, money may not be everything, and that is why in the army, we see armed forces, we actually see a lot of people who have no dearth of money, or let's say who could have joined better or more, what should I say, better is the wrong word, lucrative, more lucrative professions, but they chose not to because they were kicked about the fact that they want to join the army, they want to join the armed forces. So that spirit is there to see.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think the solution is to what you asked me, and a different thing that I want to tell. See, so far here, there is what have I told you? There are some people who want to do this, there are some people who want to do that. I'm saying there's nothing wrong in that. But there are some who want a bit of both. तो जोश है, जज्बा है कि हमने करना है फौज टाइप काम, but not for life. Some of them say that they like that model of what you said, Israel and America, ki 2-4
Yes,
saal
yes, sir.
yeah, and then they after they are free to join, be the corporate, make a success of themselves commercially, have a yacht and a plane and whatever else they want to. So Indian Army is also now considering, and as you may have read about it, something called tour of duty.
Tour of
Where it is being contemplated that we will take in young officers, that is young men and young women, as officers for, let's say, 3 years.
Okay.
When you say 3 years, that means you take in a youngster, train him or her. After training, they serve for 3 years, and after that, they're free to go. Now, when I was commissioned, I was 21 years old. If I serve for 3 years, what will my age be? 24. At 24, अगर आपको कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में एक ऐसा आदमी मिल जाए या यंग लेडी मिल जाए जो आर्मी में, आर्म फोर्सेस में सर्विस कर चुका है या कर चुकी है, and now they have 3 years of commanding men in operational areas, soldiers, and they have done that adequate, they have adequate qualifications. Either go and do an MBA. Even if they do MBA, they will be only 26 years old when they finish MBA. 26 में तो अभी तक पढ़ाई कर रहे होते हैं सब लोग.
बिल्कुल सर.
So, and at the age of 26, if you have an MBA graduate at the age of 26, even if you take 27, who's done 3 years in the army as a graduate, then is an MBA, which corporate structure won't lap up such a person? They will want such people because they have actually commanded teams, not small teams of 6-7 people in a corporate company, commanded men in battle.
Absolutely.
So I think that is the kind of there are a lot of wrinkles in this which need to be ironed, which are being worked on. So such like avenues will offer, such sort of options will offer very good avenues to those young men and women who want to serve and yet want to make a different career for themselves for life.
Absolutely. Wow. All right. So this is going to be the last but not the least question. Iske baad I'll take questions from the students. So sir, this of course ये question एक मेरे मन में भी आ रहा था, तो मैंने कहा ये but this question is on behalf of our NCC cadets. So since they came to know that you have been a commando instructor, they are curious to know what qualities are required to become a commando and how to prepare for it.
Okay. देखिए, what is a commando? A commando is a specially trained and motivated soldier. He's a cut above the others. When you say a cut above the others, you are essentially saying that he has conditioned his mind stronger than his body. You'll be surprised how much your punishment your body can take if required. And in our commando training, like you said, I've been an instructor there when I was a captain.
Yes, sir.
In our commando training, for 33 days, the course is 33 days. It's a very grueling and one of the toughest courses in the world. But it gives so much confidence to a man. You know, we give them a lot of specialized skills like demolitions, that is explosions, underwater demolitions. We give them training in speed marches, sniper firing, battle obstacle courses. So many such skill sets are taught, but more than that, it is a very grueling course. It is not that you go fresh and do something. You will run for 20 kilometers, you will run for 30 kilometers. At the end of the commando is a combination of skill sets, that is specialized training,
Right.
great physical activity, physical endurance,
Yeah.
and mental robustness. That is the biggest thing.
Okay.
Even meek looking people at times will show greater mental robustness than big bodybuilder types. So mind is very powerful. The most powerful organ of human body is the mind. And commando is very robust mentally, very strong. And it is that which makes a commando different from anybody else. Our special forces are all commandos. In the army, all infantry officers, 100% infantry officers are made to undergo this course. All of us have done this course. And that is why when a commando qualified infantry officer goes and commands a platoon or a company or a battalion, he has that confidence in him. And the soldiers look up to him. And that is why you find young soldiers, whether it is Captain Pawan in Kashmir or whether it is Dil Mange Morwala, Captain Batra of Kargil, Tiger Hill.
Yes.
That is why they're all 23, 24-year-old, and they let men to command the height. That is the kind of training we give them.
Wow, wow, wow. Great, sir. Great, great. Okay, so I'm through with my all the questions, but now I have some questions from CGC Jhanjeri students. Very interesting question from Aman Gupta. This is, sir, does the robots have any role in Indian Army?
Yes, of course. Robots are being used also. We use robots in extricating of mines, detecting of explosives, and such like places where we can reduce the casualties to soldiers.
Yeah.
Robots are being used uh, in even in counter-terrorist situations.
Yeah.
Where you want somebody to enter a building. In fact, I have had the experience of trying to use a robot in a building which was taken over by terrorists. But then after some time, the robot encountered difficulties. The robot will throw in a camera and actually keep sending pictures from inside. But then there are limitations that robots come through, and then it is human mind behind those robots which finds solutions. And robots always have limitation, and that is why there is nothing to beat the human mind. So the gist of the answer is robots are there to assist, but it is the human mind that will eventually control these robots.
Right, sir. Okay, moving on to the next question. I can't see the name of the person who sent this, but Sir Jai Hind, sir, according to you, what is the most important one thing for a person to have in themselves for being in defense or to get selected in armed forces?
Confidence in oneself.
Okay.
Since you asked me one thing,
One thing.
I thought about it, and I think there are a lot of things I can say. Have faith in God, be brave, all that. But I think everything will stem from that one fact: confidence in yourself.
Okay, that's great. Okay, again, anonymous attendee, Jai Hind, sir. Happy Indian Army Day, sir. Can you please suggest us your pro SSB tips? I can't understand the exact. I'm sure, sir. You can.
No, I have understood. He's talking of SSB. That means Services Selection Board, which I said the interview is very tough. It takes 4 days. So he's pro SSB. That means he's asking me to give him some tips which will help a young man or a young woman to get through SSB.
Yeah.
So now I can expand that question to say confidence in yourself. Be prepared. तैयारी करके जाओ. Because there is nothing like preparation. There is no shortcut to success, I will say. Because you have to be prepared. You have to put in hard work. And if you thought anybody can get it sitting down at home, it doesn't work like that. So, and the moment you have that junoon, that jazba in you, you will feel like working hard towards it. So that is the only shortcut. I can only say have positive attitude when you go for an SSB. Don't have confidence in yourself. I come back to that point. Always remember, faith in God above and confidence in himmate marda,
Mother Khuda.
khuda, bas wahi hai.
Yes. All right, this is going to be the last question, and then there'll be a final message from sir. But this is Cadet Lavanya Sharma asked, it is often debated by some activists that defense budget should be decreased and invested in areas like education and healthcare. What are your views on it, sir?
Healthcare and education are very important. I cannot deny that.
Right, sir.
We know health. We just spoke about it some time ago.
Absolutely.
That this year, 2020, has proved to us how important is health. Healthcare is really very important. Education is important if you want to take a country forward. If you want a country to grow, the youth have to be educated so that they move in all fields, in every field. It is not possible without education. So these two fields are very important. But we must remember, whether it is your house or your society or condominium or that residential enclave that you live in, whether it is your state or your country, can you also ignore the security of your boundaries? Boundary can be home, flat, building, residential block, whatever, RWA. Can you ignore the security? So everyone I beg your pardon. So you see, a bank has a guard, ATM has a guard, a building block has a guard. They check your this thing. You go to any office, they will check your this thing. Airport has a security. Everything has its own security.
Yes.
Everything today. You go to a hotel, dressed in all finery. Go to a 5-star hotel with all the ladies are dressed up in finery. Men are wearing suits, and eventually, no matter how big, strong, what a big car you may have come in and what fancy clothes you may be wearing, he tells you to take out your mobile, keep it in that tray. He runs a scanner on top of you. Security is that important.
Absolutely.
So, sir, security of a country cannot be wished away. I wish we could. I wish we could have better relations with others and reduce our spending on security. It's a wasteful expenditure.
Yeah.
But till we get that kind of peace, and we cannot take chance with our security. So we have to draw balance. We have to draw a balance between education, between healthcare, and security. You tell me how would we manage with this issue in China, in Ladakh that happened, unless we are strong enough to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. All right, sir. So many questions asked and so many answers. I'm sure आज सीजीसी संजय के जितने स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो हमारे साथ आज कनेक्ट हुए हैं, काफी कुछ सीखे होंगे आपसे, काफी कुछ बातें उन्होंने ग्रैब करी होंगे. आई एम श्योर कहीं ना कहीं वो मोटिवेशन जो है वो भी उन्हें जरूर मिला होगा ऑन दिस फैंटास्टिक, ऑन दिस ग्लोरियस डे. आई वांट टू ask any message to all the viewers, all the students, all the listeners also of my FM, all the people of Tri-City. Any message from you, sir?
Okay. I realize that I am addressing the youth more, but to the citizens of India in general, anyone who's listening, it's applicable. Quite often, I am asked these questions. आजकल तो ये digital medium में हो गया है, वरना I have been going a lot to colleges and universities and giving talks.
जी sir.
I beg your pardon. तो जैसा कि अभी यहाँ पे भी 2-3 questions थे about wanting to join the army, about SSB, tips to go for SSB. So I get a lot of requests or comments when people say, boys and girls say, that I wanted to join the army and I could not, or I'm going to join the army. Can you give me some tips on SSB? So my message to the youth is this. All those who want to join the army or armed forces, you're welcome. We need such brave men and women like you to join the armed forces, to join the army. But you don't, those who don't want to join or those who could not join, you don't have to join the army to serve the country. You can also serve the country by doing whatever you do, but do it to the best of your ability. Because the growth story of India needs everyone.
Absolutely.
It cannot be done only by soldiers. It needs the engineers, the doctors, the software guys, the architects, this farmers, the every skill set and every walk of life, every occupation and profession is required to make India strong. And you, the youth of India, you will do it. You will take the country forward. You will take the world forward. And if you want to respect the army, respect the soldiers, you can do one thing. And this Corona year has taught us more than anywhere, any earlier times. Be a good citizen. Be a citizen worth dying for. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Thank you very much. Again, on the behalf of Chandigarh Group of Colleges, Janjedi Mohali, and 94.3 MyFM being the radio partner of this amazing talk show. So really good to have you. Really proud on our armed forces. Thank you very much, sir. Salute, sir, once again. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jai Hind again.
So all the students of CGC Janjedi, I'm sure you got so many things from sir, और काफी चीजें आपको सीखने को मिली होंगी, and I'm sure you'll implement these things in your life and spread this message. Thank you very much once again. This is RJ Golmaal Gagan from the studio of 94.3 My FM. Thank you.